From the Empower.com studios, here's Todd Hartley.
Since debuting in 2004, the NBC hit series The Biggest Loser has grown to become a worldwide hit, inspiring people to lose weight in over 90 countries. Their trainers, Jillian Michaels and Bob Harper, have become fitness icons, and the results have been life-changing. To talk about her weight loss, let's go out to Hollywood right now and talk with Hollie Self, The Biggest Loser's second runner-up in Season 4. Hi, Hollie.
Hi, how are you?
Hollie, we're doing great. Empower's excited to have you. And when you started on The Biggest Loser, you weighed 255 pounds. Have you always struggled with your weight?
You know, when I was growing up, I was always conscious of my weight. But I was a very active child. I was a very active teenager. And then when I went to college, like most people, I started to put on weight and kind of found myself in a cycle that I couldn't get out of. I was constantly putting on weight, about 10 pounds a year. I wasn't sure what was happening, and, that went on for about 10 years.
When you started training with Jillian Michaels, your body mass index, your BMI was 39.9, and you got your BMI down to 23.5, which is awesome. But how has lowering your BMI improved your overall health?
My overall health is, there's just not enough to really say about it. I went from being, not active at all, extremely unhealthy, not able to exercise for hardly any period of time at all, to my entire well-being has changed. Not only, can I exercise now, but I enjoy it, and it's really just improved the entire quality of my life.
Yeah. Hey, Hollie, how long did it take for you to start seeing the results from your exercise?
Well, I think that's a great question, because there's a lot of people who, you see results immediately. Most people do. When they, that first week, you'll see a pretty big drop, and that's really inspiring to most people, whatever kind of, diet and exercise plan they embark on. But then after that, it slows down. And for me, it absolutely slowed down, and I lost, on average, about 2.5 pounds a week.
Wow.
And I, was working out as hard as I possibly could and really watching my diet. But my numbers were slow, but they were steady.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't seeing results that maybe other people were, and that was discouraging at times. But, as time went by, those numbers add up. And to me, that was the important thing, is that it was a steady loss.
You lost 105 pounds, which is 41% of your total weight. What was the hardest part of losing that much weight?
The hardest part of losing, it really wasn't the food. It wasn't the exercise. It was kind of changing your mindset, because you see success stories all the time. People, if they adapt a program and it's rigorous and they stick to it, they will lose weight.
Right.
But the hardest part of all of that is really kind of changing your mindset and figuring out why is it, that you have the behaviors that you do. So for me, it was allowing my mind to catch up with the changes in my body.
And those changes really transform how you think about yourself and how you feel and all your motivations and dietary options. I'm looking at photos right now on your Facebook page, and for those who would like to follow Hollie on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Biggest Loser Hollie, and Hollie is Hollie. And there's a photo of you running, and you're looking totally stylish. Got your LA glasses on and your iPod plugged in, and somebody comments here and they say, "My little sister thought this was a picture of Victoria Beckham." How does that make you feel?
Oh, I definitely think it's the glasses, but it's great that people can look at those pictures, because it shows people that it is possible. Because I think that when people start a weight loss journey, so it seems impossible, when you know that you have to lose not only, 20 pounds, but 100 or 200, and that those numbers can be really intimidating. But you can look at me, you can look at other contestants from The Biggest Loser, and the thing that I'm most proud of is that we can show people out there that you can do it. It doesn't have to be at breakneck speed, but if you persevere and you keep at something, then it's completely possible.
Losing 100 pounds is an enormous amount of weight. Do you mentally look at it as short-term goals, or do you look at it as the big goal?
It was quite a shock to the system to go from pretty much eating whatever I felt like and not being active to kind of doing a complete 180. And it was really hard. Everything that you see on The Biggest Loser, you think, oh, that looks hard. It's, 10 times harder than it looks. And there were so many moments where, it wasn't about the finale for me. It was about getting through that particular workout or getting through that particular day. And it was because sometimes if you look out into the future, you think, when is this going to happen? And it's going to take so long. And so by breaking things up into smaller goals, that is what made it possible for me. If I could get through the day and be proud of what I did that day, that was enough to, get me ready to begin again the next day.
How do you keep yourself so disciplined?
The thing that I think I didn't realize is that, it's all about the quality of your food.
Right.
And I was never hungry when I was training for The Biggest Loser. Never. I never felt like I didn't have enough to eat. It's just the quality of the food that I was putting into my body was so much better. There were so many things I had never eaten before. We'll say I didn't eat tomatoes. I didn't eat, mushrooms or bean sprouts. And I've really kind of developed a taste for vegetables now. And it's just so funny because beforehand my vegetables were, on pizza or on a hamburger. So it's really about your cravings change. There is a period of time where you still kind of, want, deep fried food, or you want something that tastes really, really good that might be fatty. But one of the things I've learned is that you can make modifications, and, there's substitutions. It's not about completely foregoing everything that you used to love. It's all about balance. Like, that's the main thing that I've learned throughout this whole experience, is that it's all about balance. You don't ever want to say, I'm never going to eat that again.
So do you have a day where, is there a day where you're allowed to just go a little crazy?
I wouldn't say that I go crazy, but I do have one day a week where I have a high-calorie day.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be a day where I do go eat a hamburger, or I do have a few drinks with friends. I still eat pizza. I still eat hamburgers. I just don't eat them multiple times a week like I used to before, because it's all about the balance.
I live an active lifestyle, so I get it. I understand. And every once in a while I find myself out of balance and out of discipline. And it takes me a little while to just wrangle that discipline back up and to get back onto my routine. What do you say to people who are listening to this right now and are overweight and without hope? What do you say to that woman?
I would say that, first of all, nothing is impossible. You see people have success all the time. You're no different. Why not you? And the thing that you have to realize is that if you start small and you start building good habits, that you absolutely can do it. And that's, again, for me, I took it day by day. Sometimes I took it hour by hour. Did I make good choices this hour? And eventually you build up. It's just like, with exercise. You don't go out and run a marathon, the next weekend. You build up. You build up that stamina. You build up that practice of good habits. So it's the same thing with eating well. And little by little, those habits will become more natural to you.
Well, she's Hollie Self from The Biggest Loser. She's their second runner-up from season 4. She lost 105 pounds. You can follow Hollie on the web at facebook.com/Biggest Loser Hollie. And remember, Hollie spelled Hollie. That's facebook.com/Biggest Loser Hollie. Hollie Self, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Your Healthy Podcast is brought to you by Empower.com. That's EMPOWHER.com.